the time of Tish B'Av in 1975, I was in Miami Beach, and there was a man out in the water. To make a long story short, a few days later, I'm in his 1975 Cadillac, going through Williamsburg and Borough Park and Crown Heights, and seeing the Hasidic field, the outreach field. Then when I get out to LaGuardia, I meet a man named Briefstein, and he tells me about a dream that he's having about the Hasidim. He's in Williamsburg, and it's late at night, and the whole place is on fire, and he can't get a fire truck, he can't get a fireman, he can't get anybody to pay any attention. And of course, he was talking about Gehinom, Eish Olam, eternal fire. And when he said that to me and I got back on the plane, the Lord imparted a burden to me. And of course, the burden was for a Hasidic Yiddish translation. And then on September the 1st of last year, 2009, we were throwing this Yiddish New Testament out the window, going through Crown Heights, and there was a Hasidic man who was on his face, a man that had been a rabbi as far as his training was concerned. And he was praying, and he was looking at Yeshua, you see. And the next morning, when he went for a walk, he was walking by, and he saw this Hasidic Yiddish Brit Hadashah littering the sidewalk, which is, you see, we had prayed over it, we had wept over it, then we went out that night, we put them all over. The next morning, the Lord answered his prayer. He picked it up, started reading it, started weeping. You see, it says, they that go forth weeping will bear precious seed and doubtless come again rejoicing. And then he wept, he called me, my cell phone is inside, and to make a long story short, this man is now a believer. And it took 30 years for the Bible to be translated, and then another 7 years after that for the Hasidic translation. Now, the thing I want you to know is that I had an acting company in Florida, and this is the way I was going to look as an actor doing the rabbi from Tarsus, portraying Rav Shaul, Paul the Apostle, as a Hasidic, Hebrew of all Hebrews, ultra-Orthodox Jew who was persecuting the believers, but he had a Damascus Road experience. Now, tomorrow night, Tisha B'Av, we will be in a homeless shelter, and I will be holding up this business card. You say, what is that business card all about? Well, if you look very carefully, you'll see that it says Wishing Well Motel. You know, there was a Baale Batish Oisher rich man, and he said, what good thing, what mitzvah must I do to inherit Chaye Olam? And Yeshua looked at him and saw the idol in his heart and saw that he had made money his God. You can't serve God and mammon. So he told him to sell all that he had and follow him. And so here's the Bible that I had in my hands that night. This was Labor Day weekend, 1978. And I had lost everything I had. I had 23 cents. I gave it all up for the Lord in one night. You see that Bible? You can almost see where I was weeping and where I was underlining the verse, because as I was walking on the highway, I-95, I cried out to Yeshua. Now, you see, it won't help you to cry out to Menachem. What are we talking about tonight? We're talking about Messianic Deceptive methods exposed. You see, one of the most important people in the Bible that you've probably never even heard of is a man named Yeshua ben Yehozadak ben Seraiah. 2 Kings 25:18, Ezra 3:2, and Zechariah 6:11 and 12. Why is this high priest, this Kohen Gadol, so important? Well, he's important because it says that his name is Mashiach's name. Now, his name is not Menachem. His name is Yeshua. You say, well, where does it say that? I just told you. It says it in the Tanakh, Zechariah chapter 6, verses 11 and 12. And, you know, you got to see this. Ezra 3:2 and 2 Kings 25:18. This is the man whose grandfather was the Kohen Gadol before the Golus, and he was the Kohen Gadol who came back, who was resurrected from the death of the national death of Israel in the Golus, and he was resurrected from the dead. And then Zechariah says, your name is the Mashiach's name. Behold the man whose name is the Mashiach. So here we find out that the Mashiach's name is Yeshua. You say, oh, I don't like that. Well, that's because you don't like the Bible. And you don't really have a problem with the Orthodox Jewish Bible. You have a problem with the Bible itself. And when you get born again, you'll be able to understand the Bible, and you'll be able to understand what you're reading. Now, why am I talking about this tonight? I'm talking about this because I want you to know what happened. I cried out to Yeshua. I cried out to him because I had no place to go. I was homeless. Have you ever been homeless with 23 cents in your pocket? Here I'd started all these Messianic synagogues and I had no place to live. I had no money. I had 23 cents. But I cried out. It says, whoever calls on the name of the Lord will be saved. I cried out to Yeshua. And a car stopped. And the guy said, where are you going? I said, I have no idea. I'm having a nervous breakdown. He said, it's all right. Get in. So he drives for a couple of minutes. And he says, where are you staying tonight? I said, I have no idea. And then he says, well, it so happens I manage a motel. And you can stay there. I said, I don't have any money. I don't have a credit card. I don't have anything. He said, it's all right. So he pulls into the motel, goes in, gets the key, sends me down to the room. So here I am, I'm in this free room. Now, it's Labor Day weekend, 1978. If you don't think that's a miracle, you go down to Florida and try to get a motel room with 23 cents in your pocket. So I'm crying out to the Lord. I'm saying, Lord, I had this acting company. They've all backslidden. I'm homeless. I have no money. I want you to show me you're real tonight, Lord. I want to do a film of the rabbi from Tarsus. I want to do this film, and I want you to help me, Lord. I have 23 cents, and I'm broke, and I need your help. And so you know what the Lord did? In that very town, there was a man of God, and a few years later, after I'd written the screenplay and prepared the film, he sent me a check for $23,000 from that very place. It says, your wish will come true at the Wishing Well Motel. And then it's got the address, 2505 South Federal Highway, Boynton Beach, Florida. So I had 23 cents, and Yeshua gave me a free motel room, and then he gave me 100,000 times as much as I had when he checked me into the motel room. He gave me $23,000. I made the Rabbi from Tarsus film. You can now see it on YouTube. It's been seen by thousands and thousands and thousands of people since 1986 when it was filmed. Why am I telling you this? I'm telling you this because Yeshua said, in my Father's house are many mansions. He wants to check you in to an eternal room. That's what the word means, room. He wants to do it, and he can do it because he rose from the dead. His grave is empty. You see, people who believe in this man, his grave is not empty. He's over at Old Montefiore Cemetery, moldering in the grave. And he wasn't born in Bethlehem, and his body has seen corruption, which is Psalm 16. So Micah 5:1-2. He doesn't fulfill the prophecies. But the true Mashiach fulfills the prophecies. He has gone to heaven to prepare a place for you. He prepared a place for me on Labor Day weekend, 1978. He answered my prayer. He gave me this translation. He did all these wonderful things for me. And then on Tisha B'Av, 2001, this prophecy about the World Trade Center. And now tomorrow night is Tisha B'Av again, and we're in the homeless shelter, and I'll be preaching, holding up this little business card in the homeless shelter tomorrow.